Thank you. I'm Andrew Heaney from TalkTalk. Those aren't little devil horns I have coming up from my head, although Jeff and his colleagues often try and portray us in that way. I'm quite comforted by the number of police outside, actually. Just in case it gets heated. You can arrange that. There's a lot being said about the judicial review, lots of venomous stuff come out, lots of stuff said about TalkTalk and indeed about BT as well. Just to get a couple of things straight. We sympathise with the problems that Jeff has. All businesses go through change and they have to adjust. Jeff, explains it very eloquently, although I couldn't quite follow the maths of the space station, but I'll try and find out later. We don't condone, we don't encourage, we don't support illegal file sharing. It kind of happens. We don't profit from illegal file sharing. That's another one that's put out frequently. We absolutely accept right holders' rights to protect their rights and enforce their copyright, and we're happy to help do something. We're not saying, look, we won't do anything to help. And off the back of Ed Vaizey's latest roundtable, we'll no doubt be having more dialogue about what we can do. But we have a bottom line, however, line in the sand, that whatever is done, that is done to sort of tackle illegal file sharing, may be a very big problem, but whatever's done must be fair and proportionate. And I think the reason that we're fighting the Digital Economy Act is very simple. What is being proposed is quite simply unfair and unproportionate. I think it's been touched on by a number of people already. It's very interesting to note the DCMS Select Committee is looking at this very issue, and I think the second bullet point is we will review whether the Digital Economy Act is fair and proportionate. I suppose you ought to say better late than never, but as was said earlier by Julian, it would be good if that was actually done prior to the legislation going through. So what is it that's wrong? Well, the real nub of the problem, which Jeff and none of his colleagues in the creative industries have really addressed, is the method of identification that they use. Basically, the way the Digital Economy Act is the rights holders participate in a BitTorrent or a P2P site. They gather IP addresses of infringers that are being used, give it to the ISP, and the ISP matches it to the subscriber. Very careful use of words there. One is the infringer, and one is the subscriber. The infringer is somebody who used that connection. The person who gets the letter, the person who gets sent warning letters, which the BPI would like to be quite threatening, just like the sort of, not probably as threatening as the Davenport Lions would be. The subscribers who would, once they get 3 of these letters, they're going to go on the database and be exposed to legal action. And by the way, the same subscribers that, again, if the creative industries get their way, the same subscribers that will be disconnected. They're all disconnected, not on the basis that they infringed, they're disconnected on the basis that they were the subscriber of the connection that was used for the infringement. You go to any court in this land, it certainly hasn't been proven as far as I'm clear, or I'm sure, and I think Damien touched on this issue, a subscriber is not responsible for activities by third parties on their connection. That's the basic flaw in this Digital Economy Act. They don't hit the right person, they catch the wrong one. So basically, people will have broken absolutely no law will be disconnected. So that's, and given, we've been told the volumes of notices we might be sent for TalkTalk, we're about a quarter of the market. We might get about a million a year. Multiply that up by 4 or 5 for all operators, 4 or 5 million a year. Given that in most cases the subscriber won't have done the infringement, there might be 4 or 5 users on a particular account. Maybe 70% of those notices are sent to the wrong people. So we've got millions and millions of people who are being sent warning notices, potentially putting it on a database, and again, if the rights holders get their way, disconnected on this basis of this totally flawed evidence. So you add to that, it's probably anyway also going to be ineffective and futile, because there's so many ways of getting around it. It will cost tens and hundreds of millions to implement in terms of the cost to us, the cost to rights holders, the Ofcom cost, or I like to use the word bureaucracy. No, okay. The cost of Ofcom, an appeals cost, which might cost £100 a shot. I don't know how much it's going to cost, but we could have millions of people who want to appeal. You can multiply that up fairly simply, hundreds of millions of pounds. It will also potentially close open Wi-Fi networks because they can't operate without becoming liable, and it's got big privacy and intrusion issues. So apart from that, it's a fantastic act, absolutely fantastic. And then somebody used the analogy of a sledgehammer cracking up. I think that's a fairly favourable description. I'd say it's a sledgehammer, it's a nut. It misses the nut, and it breaks the table that the nut was sitting on, and the nut remains because the illegal file sharing remains there. So all in all, the question, I think the exam question of what we would like to see done with the Digital Economy Act, I think we've really got to start with a blank sheet of paper. We're very happy to help, but I think the rights holders have got to come with a practical, workable and fair and proportionate solution that we can all buy into. Thanks.